Okay, now to a topic that is extremely important to all of us here on News Breakfast, sleep.
We can talk about it all day. Today is World Sleep Day, so of course we're going to chat about it. We've invited Dr. Sean Kane from Monash University into the studio. He specialises in circadian rhythms and is currently looking at how women and men react differently when their sleeping patterns are disrupted. Shane, good morning. Good to see you. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Are you well rested this morning?
I am less well rested than normal.
What would be your normal sleep, given that you know about sleep and how important it is? What do you believe is your optimum sleep?
Well, my optimum sleep is about 8 hours, so I give myself 8.5 hours time in bed and about 8 hours of sleep in
Luxury.
Luxury.
This is what you need to do to function.
What?
Yeah, and it's not just us. I mean, there are lots of other shift workers out there, lots of other people doing, normal jobs during the day. 8.5 hours is very hard to obtain, isn't it?
Well, you have to prioritize it. There are other things you could maybe not watch Project Runway or something like that and take a little bit more time for sleep.
Hush your mouth. Do you have to get those 8 hours, 8.5 hours all in a row? Can you break them up?
You should be getting them all in a row. You can have a nap that's useful in the day for your daytime performance, but you really should be trying to get a consolidated 8-hour bout of sleep at night. It's different for different people. Sometimes people need more, sometimes people need less.
And different genders. Sean, I'm intrigued by that research showing different effects on men and women from lack of sleep. Take us through that.
Well, men and women seem to need a different amount of sleep. So it looks like women need a little bit more than men. And that has different results. So women do have more trouble with night shift work, partly because maybe there's a little bit more sleep debt. But we're trying to figure out now at Monash why women have more problems than men on night shift work.
Okay.
Some of the common complaints that you just might hear from people generally about life, that they're grumpy, that they're tired, that they're stressed, that they're disorganised. How much of that, in your view, can be sheeted home to poor sleep?
A huge amount. One of the things that goes first when we have too little sleep is our prefrontal cortex. So it stops functioning as well.
And what does that part of the brain do?
It regulates your mood, partly.
Right.
So if you're getting too little sleep, you'll tend to have less emotional regulation. So you'll get more upset. And unfortunately, it's not a positive thing. Usually, it's more negative moods that come out. So if you're not getting enough sleep, unfortunately, you're not happier, you're less happy.
And it's hard to break out of that cycle, isn't it, if you're getting bad sleep after bad sleep after bad sleep?
Absolutely. It builds up, and it's hard to pay back. You can't just have one good night and then it's all erased.
Right.
So it doesn't work like that? Because I try to get a good night's sleep, whatever that is, 8.5 hours ideally. I never get it, even on weekends, as a way of winding back the deficit I build up over the week through a lack of sleep.
It helps a little, but there's something more permanent that goes on. So it takes a while to get back to where you should be if you're chronically sleep restricted.
Okay.
And more troubling long-term effects on our body and our health by not getting adequate sleep?
Sure. We're finding out, over the past 20 years, we've found out so much more about the lack of sleep and its effect on cardiovascular health, metabolism. It's so far-reaching.
And what are your top sleep hygiene tips, Sean, in terms of getting
I like to focus on light hygiene tips because it's very easy. And not light hygiene as in you shouldn't wash so much, but watch your light cycle. If you have dim light in the evening, maybe start dimming the lights in your house a couple of hours before you'd like to go to sleep.
Okay.
Quite dim, just dim enough to get around the house by if you need to.
To bark your shin.
Well, that's right, because we have candlelight dinners most nights at our place.
Candlelight dinners are fantastic. That's perfect. But watch the candles, blow them out.
He really is just the perfect husband, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I can just imagine.
Yeah.
Perfectly lying husband, too.
But if
So
you
dim the lights, yep.
dim the lights, if you dim the lights, because the light has a powerful impact on our circadian clocks.
And you're heading towards talking about the light from this as well,
I am
aren't you?
heading toward talking about that. So these phones that we have, and most people bring them into their bedroom and they stick them in front of their faces. And if you walk in a dark room and your partner's maybe in bed with their phone in front of their face, you see a bathing of blue light all over their face.
And that's bad.
That's very bad. So blue light, our clocks are very responsive to blue light. It's unfortunate that these things are full of blue light.
Yep.
If we get a lot of that, it affects our clocks, it makes us more alert. So perhaps people who are tweeting at 3 in the morning might make bad decisions the next day.
Who are you talking about, Sean?
Have bad emotional regulation.
Who would do that? Who would do that?
Sean, it's always dispiriting to see you. Thanks so much.
No problem. I'm happy with it.
So look, don't do what we do. Get better sleep.